Hey, what's up guys? John here. I am in Naples, Italy, and Jerome Powell just increased interest rates. Look at this view, it's absolutely beautiful. Just increased interest rates 75 basis points. And what does this look like? Well, I think that there's going to be some huge changes coming to this economy very, very soon. And with change, I think comes a lot of pain, but also a lot of opportunity for the smart and savvy investor. And how am I really coming to this conclusion? Well, we simply look at the data. Let's look at just the facts. We have 1.5 trillion outstanding auto loans, 1.2 trillion almost in outstanding credit card debt, and 1.7 trillion in student loans. You have all of these debt levels, all these debt expenses that are going to get more and more expensive every single month, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And at that same time, things are getting more expensive in America due to inflation. So they're getting hit, everyday consumers getting hit from all angles, whether it be inflation, debt services, jobs they're cutting back. We're seeing massive layoffs across the board. We're seeing a lot of change, right? And so where's the opportunity? Well, the opportunity is going to be capitalizing on this change, because now with the internet, we're seeing a lot of people, a lot of businesses, closing down local locations and simply trying to do everything remote, right? A lot of my team is remote. A lot of businesses are now moving remote. Even Yelp, a lot of, Airbnb, a lot of these companies are moving into remote labor. Doing so is going to be able to reduce their overall expenses and provide a product or service to the consumer at a lower price, a price in which they could potentially afford, right? And so we're seeing all of these models in business change and get tested due to this affordability situation, this problem, right? And at the same time, we're also seeing a couple unique things happen. Look at David Rubenstein. He is, CEO of Carlyle Group. They just raised $500 million and they just bought a ton of small mom and pop properties all throughout Brooklyn at the same time that this eviction moratorium has really punished local landlords. So he's buying up these, fourplexes, fiveplexes, buying up tons of these properties all throughout Brooklyn. We're seeing the same thing happen right now. The state of California is gobbling up properties all across California. We're seeing people, companies, organizations, states, jurisdictions just dive in and start acquiring the stress, right? That's what they do. They acquire the stress because they buy it at a great price and they capitalize on the fact that, hey, inflation is going to run rampant in these assets. There's a limited supply of them. So because of this, I am going to obviously win. I'm going to win in the long game. Right? And that's what it's about. It's the long game, not the short game. And so I'm going to show you guys this view over here in Naples. So when we are looking at this situation, and I personally think that this is going to be the biggest opportunity of a lifetime. I think there's going to be so much blood in the streets because people simply weren't really looking at the situation that we're now in. Think about it this way. When people are buying properties, let's say a year and a half ago, they were buying these properties on a 5 cap, on a 4 cap, meaning if they paid all cash, the net operating income would be 4 or 5%. I'm summarizing, but just roughly, right? And so what happens, a lot of these commercial properties, they're gonna have to refinance these properties in 5 years or 7 years. And so we're gonna be walking into a situation potentially where all of these buildings that they paid so much money for, basing it on these low interest rates, and basing it on rent continuing to grow, we could be seeing a situation in which, interest rates rise so dramatically that people can't refinance their buildings and they simply get pushed underwater on these deals. This could happen in a very large capacity, not just the large corporations, but you look at like Airbnb. Airbnb, I've even called out, is such a huge bubble. And now, we're starting to see a lot of people saying the same thing. Airbnb is a bubble, Airbnb is a bubble. Airbnb is going to go through a huge change. We're going to see a lot of people turn away from Airbnb. We're going to see a lot of investors start to really look at things a little bit differently, look at investing differently, look at risk differently. Everything is, I believe, going to change in such a large capacity. And that's why I think that this is the best moment. Point blank, the best moment to be alive, the best moment to be an investor, the best moment to be in business. It's just the best across the board. Normally I'm a little bit pessimistic with certain things, but this is seriously the best moment. It's because we're watching literally every industry as a whole change, every single industry as a whole change. I'm going to show you this. And with this change, we get to experience it all. So if you have a lot of debt right now, or maybe you don't, but you don't have that much money, or maybe you have a lot of money and not debt, this is the moment, because you can restructure yourself right now. You can put yourself in a great position. You can ask yourself, what problems are people going to have in the next 3 months or 6 months or a year? And what businesses can I create, or what business can I create right now that's going to capitalize on that trend, right? And this is why I think you look at people like Henry Ford, and you look at these people, these visionaries that have created tremendous wealth for themselves and tremendous value for the world. What did they do? They capitalized on a trend before everyone else saw it. And believe it or not, these rising interest rates are a hell of a lot bigger than what people think they are. Because what people are not realizing is that most of the businesses that are open, especially restaurants in like a lot of big cities, they're open because of these PPP loans. They're open because of stimulus. They're open because of the help that was given a year ago, 2 years ago. Well, now that help is drying up, and with it comes increased interest rates, increased labor costs, increased food costs, and a suffering consumer. That, my friend, is going to be the recipe for change. This change is going to be huge. This opportunity is going to be absolutely massive. I believe if everyone plays it well over the next 2 to 5 years, people will make an absolute fortune. Sure, we're going to be walking into some really big problems in this economy, in this world. We're already seeing it. Like you'd have to be naive not to see that we're walking into some serious problems. Money will help those problems, though. There's no doubt about it. The more money you have, the more options you can buy. The more options you can buy, the more freedom you can buy. That's what it comes down to. So for me, the way I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what? I need to do a couple things. 1, I need to read a lot more. 2, I need to travel more. 3, I need to create more revenue streams and streams of income. I need to reduce any type of potential debt. I pay attention to how I'm spending all my money, and I'm very cautious about the investments that I make. I'm really playing a game that I think would be hard for me to lose in the long run. And I'm positioning myself in a way to where I'm reducing the downside, because I do think we're going to be stepping into some huge problems in the economy, sure, but I also think we're going to be stepping into some really big problems based around potential issues that we're seeing right now with people. We're seeing all the headlines, all these potential problems that could potentially be coming. All these problems are going to impact traditional businesses more and more and more and more. It's not going to impact big tech. It's not going to impact Amazon. It's not going to impact Walmart. It's not going to impact any corporations, not for the negative anyway, right? It's only going to impact small traditional businesses. This is the beatdown of small businesses. That's what we're watching. We're watching, like, it's crazy, but we're watching the erosion of small business right now. And there's the only thing that we can potentially do about it is to put ourselves in a position to help people when things hit the fan. There's nothing else we can really do. Put ourselves in a position to help people, set up the right businesses. This is going to be absolutely huge. I mean, we're talking businesses that have been around for 30, 40, 50 years or more that thought they were going to be around forever, closing up, issuing layoffs, right? This is all happening right now. And I'm just paying attention to the inflation problem that's happening all around the world. Argentina, Turkey, Germany, everywhere. America, everywhere. These numbers, the inflation numbers that we are being told everywhere, we have to really question, is that right? Are we looking at the same basket of goods? Because as this inflation grows, people are going to be forced to change their spending habits, make buying decisions at other places, and figure out new ways to make it. And that's where all of us come in with that solution. How can we help? How can we be of real value? How can we be of real service in this massive change that we're all witnessing? That's why I think it's an exciting time to live, an exciting time to be alive, because we are witnessing what I feel like is 100 years of change inside 5 years. Starting 2 years ago into the next 3 years is going to feel like 100 years worth of change in just 5 years. And so, we can say, it's unfortunate, or, this person, this group of people or this industry got robbed or whatever. But the reality is, it doesn't change what is going to happen. That's what's like that. It will not change anything. And so it's up to us to simply look at this and say, what is going to be the best use of my time, and what is going to be the biggest opportunity? Because if you make a certain amount of money, or you're around a certain amount of people that have influence and wealth, you're going to put yourself in a better position, right? And this is the moment with the internet. Internet, like, it's so crazy because, you know, you have people that, let's say 10 years ago, thought that, hey, you know, I'm from this small village in Pakistan or this small village in India, you know, my opportunities are limited. But now those same people are going to be competing for jobs with the same people that grew up on the west side of LA, right, that are working remotely. That's where this is going to all go. So we're going to see all this opportunity become completely, the whole playing field is going to get completely leveled. And it's going to be the smartest person is going to get the job. The smartest person is going to position themselves correctly. You know, everything's going to change, and I think it's going to change in a massive direction. I think these interest rate hikes are the beginning of this change. The interest rate hikes are just the start, because as they increase interest rates, I can almost promise you later down the road they're going to start really pumping universal basic incomes and stimulus and all this. So if people are living on $50,000 a year, $70,000 a year, and they start really pushing out this inflation, and inflation just balloons, purchasing power is going to go with it. And employers are going to say, you know what, for me to hire in America, I need to make X, or I need to hire someone and pay X, versus, hey, if I hired someone here or here or here, I could do so for a fraction of the cost. This is all going to happen, right? And so it's up to us to say, you know what businesses can we create where we can command our own income, our own value to the world, to the workplace, and how can we capitalize on this trend, right? I wish it wasn't the case. You know, I honestly wish none of this happened, but at the end of the day, what I want versus what will actually happen are two different things. So all I can really bank on is, you know, what is definitely probably going to happen. When I say definitely, like, it's probably 100%. Unless some huge change comes, which is not, at least I think if there were going to be huge change and people saying, you know what, we went the old way, I think it would have happened a year ago or 2 years ago. I don't think we're going to see a bunch of people saying, you know what, we need to have 2018 economy again. So I think that things are just going to continue to progress from here, and it's up to all of us to make the smart decisions today to capitalize on this trend. What do you think about this entire situation? Jerome Powell increasing interest rates. There's another meeting coming up in about a month. More rate hikes are going to be coming. There's no doubt about it. And with it, stimulus, universal basic income, and massive change. Drop your comments below. Let's talk about it. Subscribe here. Subscribe also on my second channel. It's going to be an interactive show, Twitch and Discord as well. And if you need help fixing your credit, if you want to get on the YouTube grind with me or invest in real estate, cashnow.video. It's cashnow.video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. If you're interested in being sponsored on my YouTube channel, visit cashnow.video/sponsor and fill out the application.